All right. Hello, everyone. A very warm welcome from my side. Thank you very much for staying here for the last presentation of the second day of the Odoo experience. I know you've probably seen a lot of exciting presentations so far, so I hope I can keep that excitement going and start with our lovely talk about Fresh Goods Unleashed, where I'll bring the fresh goods industry a little bit closer to you in the trading aspect. So let's jump right in. What am I going to be talking about today? A little agenda here. First, some words about us. It's about myself and BrainTech, the company I work for. Secondly, we dive straight into the use case, where I get down to brass tacks with who is involved, who is the target audience, who you can approach regarding this as well, and what is the meta we're talking about. I'm sorry, my microphone is switching up. Last but not least, of course, why? Why am I having this talk? Why is this important? And how can you implement this in your future projects as well? The third point is always a good aspect, also a little bit the main point about this talk today. It's a concept talk. We're talking about what is there in the standard view, so Odoo Essential out of the box, and what is kind of the advanced approach that we're taking depending on the use case we're tackling. And the fourth one is the live demonstration. I'm going to switch quickly over to Odoo itself and show you a little bit the workflow of this entire trading with fresh goods. Keep in mind, this is not a success story, and I'm not going to be showing features or fully developed equipment. It's rather a concept that you can get an idea of what could be possible and how you can approach it as well. And last, the Q&A session. Regarding this, I already put up the QR code in the little introduction while I'm introducing myself. My name is Max. I'm a project manager and consultant at BrainTech. I've been with Odoo and with BrainTech actually almost a year now, so very fresh to the game. However, still in the steep learning curve regarding this. I'm based in Switzerland, in Zurich. Most of my projects, also the ones I'm managing and the one that I can get some insight in, are based in Switzerland as well. And this brings me to BrainTech. Of course, we've been having a bunch of talks, so chances are already that you've heard about BrainTech and what we're doing and what the company is all about. So I will try to keep it as simple as possible and only bring out the very highlights of BrainTech. First of all, we have a booth right below here on the right, where we serve also coffee. So if you want to chat with me after the talk or with other project managers who are also in interesting projects, feel free to join us there. Secondly, I want to say we're completely focused about Odoo, so we're a partner that only uses Odoo in all the projects as well. And we're very excited also about right after this talk, there's the award ceremony for Best Partner in Europe, which will be held also at 5:30. So let's get this going, and then we can move over, and we're excited on what's going to happen there. So let's get to it, the use case itself. So I want to bring you a little bit closer that you can get your mind on who you can approach regarding this or have similar projects that rely on fresh goods as well. So the use case, who is it? It's about trading companies. It's about trading companies that deal with vast amounts coming in and going out very quickly. And what do they deal with? They deal with fresh goods. So fresh goods could be anything from meat to fish or delicate matters, delicate vegetables, and so on and so forth. Here, keep in mind that this is really with minimal storage time. That means it's not kind of the FIFO method that some of you might know, because these goods really come in and directly have to move out again, because that's very delicate here with meat and fish. Why am I having this talk, or why could this potentially be interesting for you? Here, keep in mind, if you have this industry, these companies dealing with the fresh goods, they have to be completely flexible and dynamic, meaning that you can have an ERP system in place, such as Odoo, and still need to be able to be flexible and dynamic regarding these delicate goods. Also, it's a very fast-paced industry, meaning also the flexibility and the dynamic aspect comes to their suppliers. Everything changes every now and then. You can picture the scene, a customer calls you and wants some fish for the next Friday. You have a supplier in mind, but these things need to be very quickly. I have contacted the supplier, but the supplier says it's bad weather, I cannot fish, you have to switch very flexibly and fast. So here, keep in mind like these certain key points regarding the flexible goods. And again, my microphone is jumping up. Here you go. I hope you still hear me all right. Regarding the altering goods, weights and products, this is what I've been mentioning now. This is the flexibility that comes to mind with a company that deals with such goods, meaning the products can shift. You can imagine the scene, I've ordered some salmon, however, the supplier sent me something else. So we have to keep this in mind when, of course, designing and implementing a solution such as this. Going over to kind of comparison, standard and advanced, our approach is always very straightforward. We look on what's in place. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. We try to look at the logics already in store with which Odoo has, and then try to build on these topics, on these aspects. Meaning also that we try to really focus on what's existing, and innovation happens throughout the process, where we really can tailor our solutions towards what's the use case in front of us. So here we have the first aspect. We have the product, unit of measurement. Some of you might be aware that in Odoo, of course, you can have already some options regarding unit of measurements. You can alter these between sales order, purchase order. You can even alter a little bit regarding the category of, let's say I have kilogram and I can implement a new weight inside the same category. However, we went a little bit further regarding the issues that I've explained before regarding the alternative units of measurement. What is this? Why do we need this? So if you have a product and you're selling kilos of fish, you need an alternative unit of measurement. That's the one that you're purchasing, and everything relies upon that. For example, you can have a 10 kilo box or the 10 kilo carton that you're trying to sell as well as purchase. Now, this 10 kilo carton is just an average unit of measurement because, of course, regarding fish and meat and these delicate goods, it's not always the weight that you're promising that will arrive, but it needs to be very flexible. Thus, you need to have on the transaction line, so on sale order and purchase order line, you need to have two possible unit of measurements that you can track exactly what's happening here. So very simple, you're trying to sell 10 kilograms, you have a box that's 10 kilograms, you're selling kilograms, so you have the alternate unit and the unit of measurement on the product. I will, of course, show these as well in the live demo afterwards, that you can get a better picture on how to configure this as well. Next part, tracing by lot. So this is also very good standard implementation in Odoo. You can trace, of course, the goods by lots. You can have the tracking. You know if you have a recall, you must know exactly where it comes from to see on how to deal with this. Furthermore, though, you can store information on lot. That's a vital aspect if you're dealing with delicate goods. For example, you can keep in mind expiration date. Each lot, no matter what product it is, has a different expiration date, and you need to, of course, be very flexible regarding this as well and know exactly I have these lots, maybe I need to prioritize these lots because the expiration date is coming up very soon. So with everything I'm saying here, you can always know some standard is implemented there, so FIFO approach, and then we go a little bit beyond towards a tailored use case. Next point is the demand and back order. So this system is also in place in Odoo. We're really building up on this implementation of the back order creation. So essentially, if not enough products arrive, we can immediately purchase some more. However, we can not really see the full potential regarding this. So we have the initial demand and kind of the received and reserved. So we need the flexibility there as well. So what is exactly coming in, and how can we deal with this in a later stage? And the last part here is the allocation of stocks. Also this is in version 16. It's very nicely done. You can know exactly where which good is reserved. However, to go a little bit beyond this, you need a flexible disposition. Meaning, if you have the use case in mind, then let's say fish customer needs to be able to really disposition the goods that are coming in very flexible. So meaning the allocation needs to be in an overview that they can work with later on. So these are the kind of approaches from standard, not reinventing the wheel, to go over to the advanced kind of approach regarding this. And once again, this is kind of the concept of this entire talk as well, that you can keep in mind where you might be able to implement this. So now I want to switch over to a short live demo. And I have here a demo instance. I can quickly make this full screen. And what are we trying to see here? So first off, I want to show a little bit on the product side. I have here some nicely configured products, such as the Odoo fish. I can scroll down a bit, and we see, or scroll in a bit, that you see it a bit better, that we have here the alternative unit of measurement. So here, as explained before, you have the kind of kilogram approach in the beginning. So that's set in stone. We're trying to sell kilogram by kilogram and so on. This is the base unit of measurement. And then you have the alternative unit of measurement. This is the one that you're trying to buy. This is the carton. And you can see here as well, it's kind of an average. So it's an average of 10 kilograms, for example, for this product. Then let's go into a small workflow. So for example, I have a customer on the phone, and my lovely customer, Easyfish. It's a good customer. We always do good business with each other. And I'm trying to sell some Odoo fish. Now, in this industry, it's very important that you set the delivery date right in the beginning. Of course, the customer says, I want this fish to be here next Friday. So you can say, I want to set the delivery date and set it even, on next Wednesday. Doesn't matter at this point. You can set the lot number there. You can also do in a later approach depending on your use case and your business. Now I can see here already these two unit of measurements come in handy. I see here I immediately have 10 kilograms selected. This is one alternative unit. I can say, okay, I wish to have 2. So 2 boxes the customer wants, and of course this is the equivalent of average 20 kilograms. Now, if I confirm this in this small workflow, a purchase order is created depending on your configuration that you have. A purchase order is created. We can dive into the purchase order. We see, okay, our fish vendor has this on store. This depends on how you're managing your vendor price lists. And here I can say, okay, the vendor says it's all good, and I can confirm the goods. When receiving the goods, I can also go in the receiving aspect. We see the operations and detailed operations, and this is where it gets tricky regarding the weights. So either you have a very good vendor that sends you ahead already the lists of boxes they have with the weight in place, or you're measuring them yourself and your company. It depends on what the specific use case is. But let's say here the goods arrive, and I can say, okay, I have one box with 9.9 kilograms, and I can set one box as done. I can have another one. I can say, okay, this was also Odoo fish. And now also keep in mind, if changing products are now in place, you need to be flexible at this stage. I can say, okay, this has lot number 23. Before I can set lot number 24. I can set an expiration date, so this fish actually expires and you're not able to sell it later on. So these are the things that you can store on the lot itself next to expiration dates, such as certificates as well. The certificates might expire. It depends on when the fish has been catched. So a bunch of very interesting, flexible, delicate matters in this use case. So I can set also this fish expires on next Thursday, and the next thing that came in was maybe 10.2 kilograms, and I can get into one box. So this is how you can validate a little bit on what's going in, depending on which stage it is in the process. I can validate this, and now I have these boxes according to set lot number. But what happens now if another customer calls and this customer is a little bit more edgy? I want fish now incorporated, and they are also a very valuable customer, also wants now the Odoo fish with the delivery date also on next Wednesday. And this customer, same as the others, wants 2 alternative unit of measurements, so 2 boxes. I can confirm this. Now a purchase order is created. Of course, you can consolidate the purchase order depending on your use case here as well. I can say good. The fish vendor says, yeah, I have another 2 boxes. I can send this, perfectly fine. Confirm. But now when I receive the goods, I see only 1 box arrived. So I can say here, only 1 box arrived. This box has maybe 10.2. and its equivalent of 1 box. I can validate this, and I need to set a lot and supply number, thank you for noticing, and an expiration date. So this also expires on next Thursday. So I can validate this, and now the question is, right, we have a bunch of sale orders, we have 2 customers waiting, what are we gonna do? And here comes in very handy a good overview regarding the things that are coming in and things are coming out. So the astute Odoo knowers here in the room already know in which direction I want to go. So I've here created a little bit of a disposition overview. I'm going to go a little bit into detail to explain you what you're seeing. And some of you might realize it's an adaptation of the stock move that you have. So already know what is coming in at what time. It's already linked and there for you in Odoo. What you have to do is create an overview where everything plays a role together, where you're also flexible in changing certain aspects. So here you have the deadline, when does this need to be going out, you have the reference, you have the source where it comes from, which sale order, you have of course also the product, so here if you want to switch products, this will be the place where you do it. You have the destination, so the destination is which customer comes in handy. You have the forecast of the product as well as the quantity. So the quantity here is the kilogram of unit of measurement. And then you have newly created kind of a new reservation. You see here the unit of measurement of kilogram and the alternative unit of measurement. These are the cartons. Same here on the right-hand side, you have the status. So what is going on regarding what we just did? What is the status? Is it available? Means that it's already assigned and the detailed operations have already taken place. Or is it waiting on another move? Means the lot has been assigned, but it's not reserved yet for a specific customer. Just to illustrate this a little bit, might be a confusing overview. I can just filter regarding when I created this and say I've created it, let's say today at 17, there you go, and we have our 2 moves. Now you see here the 2 moves that we created. One is already available, so that was the 2 boxes that we had, 2 boxes already assigned to the customer as well. And we have something partially available where only 1 box arrived, for example. So now you need to be flexible and have in mind what the customer really wants in this place, in this overview to assign and reassign or reallocate the different moves and lots. So before we have easy fish, I want fish now company. Now it's up for the company to decide, okay, who is treated how. So maybe you know exactly, okay, I want fish now, which only has 1, needs to receive the full order. Otherwise, we're not going to have business in the future, and you have this flexibility in place here. So I can say here, I can say, okay, new reservation for the I want fish now is 2. And I can say the kilograms is roughly 20 kilograms, and the new reservation for the easy fish is 1, because they will purchase afterwards again, and we have a good relationship, they will understand. And now I can select here with a little action the disposition on what's going on. So this is just a concept. You can now do this similar to this. You can use the stock move regarding what's going to happen. You can create a new wizard with this overview. And you're using the logic already existing in Odoo. You're using actually the knowledge that you have and the connectivity regarding the stock move, which is allocated throughout with the source and everything, into one specific overview. Now I can switch back to the presentation, because I am actually at the end and ready for some questions. Thank you very much, and I hope to see you all later, latest at the bar.
Thank you so much for this use case. That was really interesting. Some questions are coming. I'm just letting people write their question.
All good. Maybe they're eager for the award ceremony.
Okay, first question. What are some further challenges with fresh goods?
Some further changes?
Challenges.
Oh, challenges.
Yeah.
Besides the use case I've shown now, definitely something that I mentioned is that you cannot rely on the product itself. So a customer wants a specific product, however, the supplier sends something completely different. There in this overview I've shown, it must be possible also to switch products immediately, to really know what you're trying to sell. So that might be one further challenges regarding fresh goods. Maybe another challenge regarding this is the inventory aspect. So I mentioned the fresh goods, they arrive in and immediately have to go out. So it's very difficult to keep a steady inventory and have multiple steps in place, for example, because it's such a delicate good. Meaning in Odoo and the standard itself, from the inventory you can scan when it arrives and then you can scan it out, for example. It's very challenging in this industry because the supplier might just send you a box that's called fish, 20 kilos, and you have to figure out what it is. So it's very interesting and challenging, yeah.
Yeah, it seems too. Next question, is this alternative quantity thing a third-party app or community app?
So this is actually something we developed for a specific use case. And similarly to the other approach, also with this specific use case, we're not taking everything into account, but reusing it for other use cases.
Okay, so no plan to sell it then?
You can purchase it, yes. Of course, get in touch with our business development unit. They're also downstairs in the booth. But keep in mind on what aspects you want to purchase here, because this one might be a very tailored module for a specific use case that you're only interested in, for example, now the alternative units. And then we can see what we can do.
Perfect. Next question, do you had orders that were sent directly from vendor to customer, acting only as a trader? Did you manage transports?
So drop shipping essentially not, because mainly if it comes to the trading industry, you have delicate information of the suppliers. So you're not willing in some use cases, I've been involved in 2 major projects regarding this. In those use cases, you don't want the information to go directly to your customers, so drop shipping is not in place.
Okay, thank you. And the last question, how do you pay the vendor? Did you have to settle a price in function of what the customer pays? If there are quality issues, he claims 10% on price and we will pay the vendor 10% less.
So that's a very good point. Also something I could have mentioned regarding a challenge in this. It's the price calculation. So regarding price calculation, you have different vendors who have different transaction costs and so on. And regarding the price, if there's goods damaged, you always have something in the contract with the supplier. What do you do then? Because they're delicate goods, you cannot send them just back and get a refund. What are you trying to do? It's the same thing if a product arrives that you didn't order and your customer didn't want, right? You have to deal with this. First you approach the customer, is it fine if I send you another product? If they say no and you sit on a product that you cannot sell, what are you trying to do? And these are the contracts that they have. They're very in close contact with the suppliers there as well.
Okay, thank you so much for your intervention and good luck with the ceremony then.
Thank you very much. Thanks, guys.